What's going on, world? It's your boy, Kuya P. This is the NRW. Nerds rule the world. And as you see from my background and as you see on the screen, I'm so excited to have, she was a singer, she was a model, she's a superstar, industry actor, adult industry. Y'all know I love them. Jupiter Jetson, y'all. Show her love. Right now, air horns are going off Jupiter. You don't hear it because I don't want to deafen you right now as we're recording. So it'll be in post. But thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me, and also for what a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
I appreciate you. So again, I've been learning all about you today in preparation for this. I've seen you in quite some videos and enjoy your work, but to know you are also so much more of a badass, like former singer. And also I did catch this. You used to go by Nova Sky, but then you read Cracked magazine, which I absolutely love and grew up on. And I'm curious how the change from Nova Sky, Cracked magazine, if you could tell me that story a little bit. And just, I love the name Jupiter Jetson as well. Nova Sky was cool, but Jupiter Jetson's on a whole nother level.
Thank you. So actually, Cracked does play a very important part in my I'd say hero's journey, but my horse journey. So I got into the adult industry. Nova Sky was born because of a Cracked article that I read in 2018. Actually, it would have been late 2007, very late 2017, December of 2017. I read an article that was, 10 things I learned about the world from being a legal prostitute. And I assumed that the article was going to be written from the perspective of a lady in the Netherlands or Belgium or Australia, one of the countries with a robust legal sex trade. And to my surprise, it was about the legal brothels in Nevada. And I didn't even realize, because I never watched Cat House, or my family didn't have cable. So I didn't know that was really a thing still in this country, that we have legal brothels. So as soon as I heard about that, I immediately applied. And the article said, the woman who wrote it, she was working there years and years ago. She said that she had applied on a whim, and then 6 months later, out of the blue, she heard from somebody, as if it was it takes a long time to get in. And I got hired within 24 hours. And they wanted me to come right away. I had to put it off a little bit, but long story short, it was kind of I did it on a whim, thinking that it would be, if I ever got a call back, it would be something like this woman in the Cracked article. And actually it was immediate and so when can you run away? And I did. I didn't even quit my vanilla job until after I had done a full tour at the brothel, because I wanted to be sure that I knew that it was something I wanted to do. As soon as I heard that it was an option, I was yes, because I'm way too chicken shit to break the law, but I would love to be a sex worker. And so I knew it was something I wanted to do, but I needed to wait and see if it was something that I was actually if the mind matched the experience, and also, if it was worthwhile for me to, quit my vanilla job and pursue this full time. And bless the lady who wrote the article. Best choice I ever made.
Wow. I love that. That's so cool and so crazy. And I just love people just going for what they enjoy and doing what they want to do. That is everything that I'm all about, is just doing what makes you happy. Real talk, know, and that's so lovely. But learning more about your journey, again, in preparation for this. So thank you for sharing that aspect. But I know you were a rock star, let's just start off from the beginning. Tell me aspirational things, young Jupiter Jetson, or Nova, because it was, and actually we still got to get that.
So actually, I did forget to mention that. So my Nova became Jupiter purely because there's actually, one thing, where are all the Novas? They're in the sky. SEO was an absolute nightmare. And when you add to that the fact that there's actually a hotel in Erbil called the Hotel Nova Sky, I was not only losing the SEO game, but also running the risk of getting a cease and desist somewhere along the line. So when I signed with my, big girl agency, they told me that it might be in my best interest to change my name. And I had, I've occasionally been a half naked fundraiser at strip clubs, and because Nova is very often taken, I've gone by Jupiter before. I've always loved going by kind of such a weird, unusual name, so I've always liked it. I'm a big space dork, so that's kind of how Jupiter came about. Yeah, I'm a big space dork. I have multiple telescopes. I go on vacation, sometimes guided by where has the lowest score on the Bortle scale. Like I'm big into the dork. Big into the
well, you're on
the
NRW right now,
so
where nerds rule the world. You are nerd official, is what we like to say. I love that. Following the astrological signs and everything, huh?
Listen, the tattoo that's being removed on my chest was a Tolkien quote. I've already been in with the nerds.
We love you. We love you. Okay, so thank you for explaining that, because I was really, really curious on how performers, choose their names, and so that's really sweet. So let's start it back. Let's bring it back. Rock star. Doing a little bit of this and that. You were in Germany playing guitar. Dominatrix life. I love that. Take me on the journey of or where are you originally from? Are you a West Coaster? And then and just going off on your flight into space of what you want to do with yourself.
Okay, well, the Reader's Digest version of Jupiter Jetson is raised in Cleveland, Ohio, moved to New York for college at 18. And while I was in college, I had my tuition, covered, and, like 3 of my books, but I still had to figure things out. And I kind of had been going to different parties, and these were kink parties, fetish parties. I was just kind of like, I had friends that were in the scene, and so I was just going for the fun of it. I didn't really identify as a member of the BDSM community at the time. And it was just, I was introduced to the idea of kink, and not just kink, but also, transactional kink. And that kind of paved my way through college. And then from there, I went overseas. After college, I broke up with a boyfriend, and I went on what was supposed to be a 3-month backpacking trip. And I had lost my passport, and the person I was staying with, we were jamming out in his house. He was an American Army officer. I used to do couch surfing back in the day. And he told me, he's like, you should take the guitar on the street. You'd probably make some money, because I had to wait for my bank to get me a new card. I had to wait for, I had to get myself to the embassy and get a new passport. So I was kind of stuck in mites for like a week and a half. And I took him up on his advice. I took his guitar out to the Christmas market, because it was that time of year. And within the space of an hour, I had, potato pancakes, a glass of Glühwein, and enough money to buy myself my own travel size guitar. And I just kind of went from there. And that led to 5 years almost of singing in bars, clubs, streets. My home, though, was the U1 in Berlin. I used to sing on the train on an almost daily basis. But it led to I basically went all over Europe with just carried by my voice and my guitar.
I love
Yeah. And then I moved back to the US, partly because I realized that I'd seen more of Europe than of my home country. And also partly because my grandfather was getting older and he needed a little bit more help around the house. So I wanted to be a bit more present for that. And that's kind of how, hanging out with my grandpa and just kind of stomping around the US and trying to find the redwoods, in my spare time. Just doing that kind of thing is kind of just how I filled that time between Germany and reading that Cracked article.
Okay. But yeah, as you said earlier, so sexuality was something you were very open with in a way, or you discovered in college, or at least the kink aspect of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So as a lot of people are so closed off in sharing themselves, what was that, in regards to that journey, and then taking it to this level that you are at now? I like to have conversations to this regard, because just there's a lot of people that, that I'm sure you and I both know as well, like they're not open, and until they feel that they can be comfortable with themselves, they become free to speak. And I love seeing when people are free and, and expressing themselves to their fullest. Um, uh, are there any tips? I guess and I like to use our own personal journeys of discovery to get there, so that way it's easier to relate with them. If you can share, that experience, like when it was in college, maybe, or what you would suggest to people, about
Well,
finding themselves.
Well, I will say, I mean, I don't know if I'm an expert on finding yourself, but to get from where, I started to where I am now, I had a natural tendency to be somewhat confused by our, the cultural attitude that things that people do that make themselves feel good and are just an expression of love or sexuality or desire are somehow indicative of a low moral standing. I've never really resonated with that idea. And I also have never really resonated with the idea that, having giving love makes you less than, if that makes any sense.
Oh, completely agree.
So,
Yeah.
and when I was back home, my family, they've definitely gotten a little bit more relaxed in recent years. But growing up, they were a lot more kind of uptight, very traditional values, lightly evangelical.
I was raised in a very Christian
So
household, so yeah.
yeah, so you get it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not, purity culture and this idea of there's no such thing as healthy sex unless it's, man woman marriage. um that's something that I've been dubious of from a very young age. And so when I went to college and I discovered the kink scene, which was, big secret, not a secret, the vast majority of people who are in the kink scene are your doctors, your neighbors, your dentists, your lawyers. Like they are, people that are just going about their day-to-day lives, and they're not hurting anybody, they're not deviants. To find out that this was something that people who were by all means successful, pleasant members of society were indulging in, it was such an affirmation of things that I'd always kind of suspected. And it was just really kind of vindicating to see that on full display, in some places public as like a bar, or, a big loft apartment. So it was kind of just something I naturally gravitated towards, and once I realized that, the world doesn't fall apart if you chase your own pleasure, and it doesn't make you a bad person. I don't know. It's just, it's led me to be so much more open-minded about pretty much everything in the world. And that's kind of how I found myself, was just by finding that, I don't know, I kind of lost the thread on that one, to be honest. But yeah, basically my only advice is, if someone else's behavior that has no harm to anyone is causing you to think about it in ways that make you feel bad, try stop doing that. Try to think about something else, because realistically, it's kind of like Confucius said, when you allow yourself to be angered by the actions of others, you've allowed them to hurt you twice. And considering what other people do in the comfort and privacy of their own bedroom, or in a simple pursuit of their own gender expression, if it's not hurting anyone to begin with, then you being hurt by it, you're the only victim here. And so maybe stop victimizing yourself.
Let's go. Dropping knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my only my only advice to finding yourself and, living a more fulfilling, self-actualized life, basically the too long didn't read version of that is, focus on yourself and find what makes you comfortable, find what makes you happy, and don't worry about what other people are doing.
Hell yeah. Let's go, Jupiter. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And the reason I asked that is because, for the longest time, this channel was, covering comic books and films and TV shows and video games. And then, while I was doing all that and working in those industries, I was also working in the adult industry, as a filmmaker, creative cameraman, producing this content and having that same talent that are nerds as well. Yes, adult people are nerds too, going and enjoying that stuff. And we're like, man, how can we bridge that a little bit? And at the start of the pandemic, I was like, you know what, we can make that happen and start doing that and just giving that forum. And so I think it's so important to show that, that those of us that work in the industry are nerds too. And there's a whole nother capacity and life to us. So thank you for sharing with that, Jupiter.
Yeah, no worries. It's actually, it's a running joke in the industry that, all of the kind of nerdy, ugly duckling girls, most of us grew up to be here.
Hey,
this is it's an industry full of, people think of us as very one-dimensional sometimes,
exactly.
but that's really more of a projection. You have to have a lot of personality to succeed in this job, and you don't get personality by being, someone who peaks in high school.
Tell it, Jupiter. I love it. Okay, so I love gems like this because I just think I think it's gonna just help somebody who's going through it right now, that are watching and listening to this right now and just need some affirmation, like we're saying, and just, something that they can relate to. So thank you so much for that, Jupiter. All right. So we're back from Germany. We're in the States. We're taking care of a family. We get into a vanilla job before we find this freeing job that we can express ourselves in a whole nother vein, getting back, expressing yourself sexually. Tell me about, so you answered the call, you learned about legal ranches in Nevada. And then tell me about, I guess, that's one thing, working in the ranches, but then getting on film. Can you talk to me about that transition?
So they are very interconnected because actually I made the leap to adult film because I had made a couple of videos with a few other girls just to kind of have an online presence and all of that. And it seemed like something fun to do. But I had a client come into the ranch and she requested a custom video with me. And I don't know if you know Sin Sage, but she is a very well-established, she's a goddamn legend in the industry. And this client pulled up her Instagram page and says, yeah, would you make a custom with her? And I laughed because I'm like, there's no way she's going to work with me. But of course, if she'd be down, of course I would. And she actually said yes. And now actually she's she's my oldest industry friend. And I shot the one video, and this is a woman who is very well respected and established in the industry. And she was like, you're really good at this. You're really good at this. And so I pursued it. And then the second video I made was with a friend of hers. And that video, my second porn video I've ever made, got nominated for an AVN. So I put everything on hold until after the pandemic, because that was actually I made that video in February of 2020. And so I didn't do anything until May of 2021. Because of the AVN nomination and the encouragement of Sin, I was like, you know what, I might be good at this. And also there is something to be said, I shoot for mainstream studios. I do like that people can see that, I am a stereotypical hot girl, but then, and that I'm having sex with, and enjoying myself with, sex gods. But also, if you go and find my own personal content, you will see things that I film with, people that I find sexy, of all different body types, all different, kinds of humans. And I like that it's kind of a way to both validate people's sexual desire, but also, you know, to kind of show off in a way that mainstream porn can't sometimes, that, you know, somebody, you know, you don't have to be traditionally sexy to make sexy content, and you don't have to be traditionally sexy by, you know, standards to be found sexy by somebody who's stereotypically hot, if that makes any sense.
Like, completely.
I
that's
kind
such
of,
good energy on your behalf. I just have to tell you, that's just beautiful. I love that.
thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's one of my favorite things about porn is that, like, it really does, you know, I've met so many people in my life who are so ashamed of their perfectly fine and normal sexual desires, and they think that it makes them dirty or, you know, a deviant. And I love being able to tell them, like, dude, no, like, this is fine. It's normal. If it's not hurting anybody, enjoy yourself.
Hell yeah.
Put a bib on and dig in, you know, like, I like being able to be that voice in people's life. So it's somewhat self-serving.
Dope. Well, I love it. And thank you. One of the things you recently did that I saw as well, you mixed your past singing life in an adult video. You had a little bit of a combination of the two. What was that experience like?
That was awesome. I can see a still from that video on the screen behind you, actually. That was directed by Princess Donna. It was for King.com's new channel. It's actually her channel. It's Brutal Gangbang. Savage Gangbang. Sorry. Oh, goodness. You can edit that, right? SavageGangbang.com. And she asked me before the shoot, you know, a little bit about myself, and if there was any concepts that I thought might be fun or, you know, interesting and like kind of unique to me. And I let her know about my singing career, which I will say it's actually not a past singing career. If you look up Jupiter Jetson on Spotify, I'm there.
Let's go.
I still sing.
My apologies on saying past. You're still killing it. There we go. My apologies on saying.
I'm just saying. No, it's okay, because I didn't correct you like 3 times, but I was waiting for the right moment to drop the hammer. But yeah, I let her know about the fact that I'm a singer and songwriter, and that's actually my microphone in the video. And the songs that we're saying are actually from. You can find the live, the non-live versions on my Spotify, because I actually really quickly had a producer take my album, because there's some electronic tracks on there that were like only on the album. In live, it's usually acoustic, and I had to like run a program to like wipe the vocals to have like a karaoke version of my own songs for that. But it was fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite shoots I've done. It was also my first anal scene, and because I go big or go home, it was the 6-guy DP.
Yeah. You go big or home. You really
go big or go home. But it was really great to kind of combine the two.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, let me again apologize. Multi-hyphenate right now. You know, just killing it, Jupiter Jetson.
Singer, songwriter, mattress actress, and smut peddler. It's a lot of hats. Most of them very slutty.
Hey, it's needed. It's what we all are. We just, not everyone's willing to admit it. So I love it, Jupiter. Okay, so we're killing it there. We're in the business. So, you know, you're still, you know, doing your thing. You're out there. Let me also promote, because this is going to drop while you're out in Sherry's Ranch in Nevada right now. I'll have all the links in the description below, y'all. Please go check out Jupiter as Sky. So we're getting Sky back a little bit. And
my super secret spy name.
I dig that. As well as some upcoming scenes. I'm gonna have all the links in the description below. I'm just being careful because we are on YouTube right now, y'all. But just click on the links below.
I figured you're gonna have to edit out parts of what my description of that music scene. I'm sure that you can't. Can't talk about some of the going big or going home.
But Jupiter, again, so you're still singing. You're still doing your thing. You're in the game. What are some of the things you want to do We're going to promote, obviously, like everything in the links below with what you have out right now. But, you're in this industry 2023. What are some future goals with this, building out your name in the business? Do you also want to get behind the camera as well and produce, some of the collaborators you're working with?
I feel like that's every actor and actress, though. Like, whether it's the kind that take their clothes off or not, we all want to pick up a camera and make our own, content. So actually, of course, someday I would love to direct. I already do a lot of producing my own scenes, and it's something I really love doing. So that's on the radar, if you will. One of my bigger goals that I want to work towards, it's not even close to realization, but I really want to do a hybrid tour of music and feature dancing. And that's something that I've been putting out feelers and trying to get that organized. So maybe someday I'll be coming to a city near you for a half naked concert. But I also, I'm just really loving the stride that I'm at in the industry, where I'm, shooting for some of the sites that I regularly masturbated to back when I was, before I was in the industry. And now I get to be on that site. So I'm really proud of my body of work, where it's going. I hate to say I don't have too many goals, but I'm in that place where I have the same goals that I started with, but I'm really just cruising and happy about where I am and where I'm going,
I love that. It's just all about being happy and finding your own happiness. We are all seeking that every single day. So that's amazing, Jupiter. I'm so happy for you. That's lovely.
Thank you.
Because we are a nerd channel, I got to close out with some nerd stuff, if you don't mind.
Never.
We know you're all about space. We know you're Nova, you're Sky, you're Jupiter. Jetsons, were you a fan of the Jetsons when you pulled the Jetson?
So
or did it just have a good ring to it?
It had a great ring to it. Of course, I watched the Jetsons when I was a kid, and I'm a space nerd. So it was just like, yeah, that works. That works. And it was kind of, I wanted the alliteration, and I wanted to be able to buy the domain. So
makes sense.
I was like, it's a sign from the universe that everything but Jetson is taken. So that's how that went. But yes, I'm a nerd of many coats and colors. Okay. So by all means, ask away.
What if you were to give a TED talk on something? What would people not know that you're super nerdy about? Beyond, we know the space stuff now and all that. Give me something new that you're nerdy about.
Where to start? Oh God, what a difficult question, because I could give a TED talk on some really ridiculous stuff. Most recently, because of my most recent vacation reading, I could definitely at the moment give a very impassioned TED talk on what a disservice to the world it was, how much of the gore they took out from the movie Jurassic Park versus the book. Because, oh God.
I love this. This is real stuff right here. That's real nerd shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm there. And also what a colossal waste of time the last three were.
True.
Let's see. Other surprising topics of TED. I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of life decisions informed by my nerdery, but deep dives. Yeah, that's probably my big one lately. I'm sure as soon as we hang out this call, I'm going to have like, why did I not think of that? Because I very much so tend to fall into a hyper focus. Like, I actually could probably give a good 45-minute lesson on the history and actual causes of death of the Donner Party. Spoiler alert, it was racism. Because of a month-long like deep dive I fell into because I found a book at a bus stop called Women of the Westward Expansion. Like, I kind of just fall into spirals, and then I come out knowing everything there is to know about raising Angora rabbits. Person?
Then, or like things like that, or like
not
history
as
buff?
Much. So I do like a lot of history. I listen to a lot of like how do I say, like angry socialist podcast.
Okay.
So one of my favorite ones, like Behind the Bastards, is like my jam.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. Dizzy, I what else? I not the crime stuff. To be honest, I it the crime documentary stuff always kind of rubs me the wrong way because I just like I don't know. What if that was my like brother or sister they were talking about? Like,
Oh,
I mean,
right. Yeah.
I get that they're like not being like harsh, but like, I don't know, man.
That
It
could be
feels kind of
difficult.
really looky-loo and disrespectful. Like,
Yeah.
don't, it's not necessarily my jam so much. I mean, like, it's I don't look down on it, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
enjoy what you enjoy, but especially I a lot of it feels a little squicky, you know.
I dig it. No, no,
But
I'm with it. Just love finding out the nerdisms of other people and just everyone, you know what I'm saying? Because I think we can all relate to stuff like that, and it's cool. Um, Jupiter
oh yeah,
Jetson,
I mean,
killing it. Thank you so much for your time, sharing, and just showing another dimension of the adult industry. And that's what I'm trying to do here, and be sex positive, and just everything we've stated. I think you and I are cut from the same mold in a lot of different ways, and I don't think people see that, and they kind of just frame a construct just for based of what they see, of the look, the face. But we're so much more than
yeah.
that, and you are so much more than that, Jupiter. And I really appreciate you sharing your time. Everybody, check out Jupiter Jetson. I'm gonna have all the links in the description below. As you continue to do your thing in the industry, please come back. Let me show love and highlight it, and find out what the next universe level you're at. And we're gonna talk all the stars in space, and hopefully we can talk aliens. That's what I was hoping for in 2023. With as much reporting that's been going on right now, Jupiter, do you feel the same?
Oh, 100. I literally was just talking about this yesterday.
Oh, I love it.
Actually, yeah, yes, please. Yes. I mean, we're less than 50 miles from Area 51 where I am right now. Like, yes, please. I would like to know all about the aliens, particularly if they're living in the ocean, because they're probably living in the ocean. I could, yes. So yeah, I could definitely give a TED talk on, aliens. I'm not saying I believe in all of the cryptozoology, but reading about that shit is fantastic.
Same.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
a big
I
crypto
could
head.
go. Oh yeah, 100%. I want to believe. I
I
want to believe. I do. So yeah, no, I will absolutely come back. Have me back immediately if they announce that we've been right about aliens this whole time.
I'm with it. I'm with it. And I don't know if you're a big X-Filer. It was just announced recently. Ryan Coogler, who did Black Panther, is doing a X-Files relaunch. I'm all
I Mixed feelings, but like I said, I want to believe. So
same. I love
I
it.
want to believe that this will not murder my childhood. Um,
I feel that. I feel that. Jupiter Jetson, y'all, amazing. We're gonna talk aliens. We're gonna book her for another episode so we can talk all things aliens, cryptozoic stuff. This was so much fun. I wish I had more time because I had actually other questions in my mind, but
I talk too much. Sorry about
oh
that.
no, you are amazing, Jupiter.
I
But
live inside of a run-on sentence.
this is what we do here. We show another part of ourselves because, again, like I said earlier, people try to pigeonhole us into a construct just based off of an initial look when there's so much more. And I can't wait to learn much more with you, Jupiter. Thank you so much for your time. Jupiter Jetson, y'all. All her links in the description below. It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World.
Thank
All right.
you.